So Florida, as we have known for months now, has an opportunity, right? That's the way I want to talk about this. I understand Florida and we got some stuff that we got to work out. All right, number one, you got Samford on the schedule, but we're going to overlook that because, well, it's the SEC, and that's what you do. You put FCS opponents on the schedule from time to time, but that is because playing in the SEC is really difficult. I think the same could be said of the Big Ten, but Florida has a unique opportunity in that they are facing one of the toughest schedules in modern football according to rankings. And yes, rankings do matter. Do you know why rankings matter? Because when your team ain't ranked, you got something to say about it. When your team ain't ranked high, you got something to say about it. When you think that you are being underestimated, you got something to say about it. Now, Scott Strickland, athletic director of Florida, ain't never been afraid of putting people on the schedule. However, when they put this schedule together about 5 years ago, I don't think that he expected Oklahoma and Texas to feature as a part of the SEC, and sure as hell didn't expect divisions to go away and didn't have to contend with, say, a real strong SEC West. Now, it's a strong schedule, and I want to get to why. Basically, looking at my rankings, look at the coaches poll rankings, and what we think are going to be the AP rankings, because the AP poll is pretty straightforward, right? We respect the AP, and even as people want to say, I don't want to hear about no rankings until the College Football Playoff Selection Committee wants to put out rankings, and then you're going to argue about those too, right? But that's kind of what we do because it also gives us a really good indicator of what games are important, and that's how you determine what you're watching on Saturdays. Aside from your team, you're going to be watching the game that we think is most important, and there's nothing that is better at signifying importance than putting a number next to somebody's name. The lower the number, the better the team. Real simple. So 2011, I'm reminded that LSU, they played one hell of a schedule, and it turned out to be pretty okay for them. Now, I'm also thinking about 2014 Arkansas, which I think had like 6 opponents ranked inside the top 10 at season start, and not a lot of them finished that way. But 2011 LSU kind of pops out in my mind because that 2011 LSU team was, well, really, really damn good. And that Alabama team was really, really damn good. And we're always going to talk about 2011 LSU as being one of those teams that we enjoy. However, as I'm looking at this, they beat a number 3 Oregon. The Northwestern State was their Samford. Mississippi State was 25 at the time. West Virginia 16. Alabama was 2. And then Arkansas was 3. That's what made that schedule ridiculous, is that Arkansas was amazing in 2011. Bobby Petrino's best season at Arkansas. He's back at Arkansas as the offense play caller. And then I'm thinking about 2019 Auburn, which also had a pretty damn tough schedule, and they didn't do too well against it. They got a win against a number 11 Oregon. Then they played Tulane, got the win. Kent State got the win. A&M was 17. They beat them. Mississippi State. Florida was 10. They took an L there. Arkansas, LSU was 2. They took an L there. Ole Miss, they got a win. And then Georgia was 5. They took an L there. They beat Samford and then beat a number 5 ranked Alabama in the Iron Bowl. Gus Malzahn still damn doing it back then. And I can't wait to see what Central Florida's going to look like because, well, they're kind of on the schedule when you're taking a look at what Florida's got. Because Florida has 8 teams on its schedule that featured in the coaches poll top 25. They got number 1 Georgia. They got number 4 Texas. They got number 6 Ole Miss. They got number 10 Florida State. So off top, 1/3 of Florida's schedule is ranked in the top 10. Then they got number 12 LSU, number 15 Tennessee, number 19 Miami, and number 20 Texas A&M. That means 2/3 of their schedule is ranked inside the top 20 of the coaches poll. Now, we can argue about how the coaches poll is doing its rankings, but I think for the most part, we're going to agree on most, right? I even would go as far as to say 23 out of 25, most of us are going to be on board with, if not all 25, right? But I'm also going, is this the toughest schedule that college football has ever seen? And it's a great place to start a conversation because, well, no, it's not, because 1899 Sewanee still exists, and 1899 Sewanee got all the smoke, wanted all the smoke, ran the table, 12-0, didn't play a single damn home game. 1899 Sewanee, right? Going to be up there with 1945 Army and 1995 Nebraska, 2018 Clemson, 2019 LSU is one of the greatest college football teams that has ever existed, if not the greatest college football team that has ever existed for all you Sewanee alumni that watch this here channel and this here show. I appreciate you. All ghosts of you. I appreciate y'all. Tell Casper I said what's up and how it's going, and we're going to pour one out for him. Try to get Christina Ricci back into that comeback for him, because I know that I'm not the only person that misses that particular Casper. But as I was saying, I think that Florida has a unique opportunity. And I think Florida has a unique opportunity because I was thinking about who's the last program to have a schedule this stacked that also ended up meeting the challenge. Now, on the one hand, fans want to win football games. On the other hand, fans want to see great football games, and both of those things are true. Florida's already sold 7,000 more tickets this year than they did last year, based entirely on the schedule. Same thing is true at Purdue, who was 4-8 last year, but their schedule is so stacked, especially at home, that they've already sold more season tickets than they have since 2007 in one single sitting. So as I'm looking at the schedule, and I was trying to rack my brain about who I thought was good, I was reminded that 2002 USC is the program that we should be looking at for Florida to emulate if and when it goes that way, because 2002 USC faced a schedule that was made up of entirely what are known as power conference teams now, which is on its face ridiculous, right? But if you're taking a look at it, and we're counting Notre Dame as a power conference team for the sake of this, you're talking about 8 of those teams were ranked at the time that they played USC. 5 of them finished in the top 20. And then in the final AP, we also had 5 of them finish in the top 20. The only one that didn't have a winning record at the end was Stanford. And we're talking about a Trojans team that finished 11-2, was the breakout year for Pete Carroll, and began the dynasty. I guess when we're talking about greatest college football teams of all time, we got to put 2004 SC in there. I can't do 05 because, y'all went and lost to Vince Young in Texas in the Rose Bowl. But you understand what I mean here. Like, it could be disastrous for Florida. It could also be outstanding for Florida, especially in the college football playoff going to 12 teams, because we're getting to a space where I think we're going to get to 16 before long. I think we're locked in at 12 through the $7.8 billion contract that is the college football playoff. For perspective here, guys, I need to, because everybody wants to talk about money and don't like these kids making any. The Olympics goes to NBC for $7.2 billion. They got it through the next 2 Olympics. 7.8 for the college football playoff? Come on now. The college football playoff is more valuable than the Olympics. Hello? Just going to put that out there. But the only way this is a downside is if your name is Billy Napier, because this is a make or break year for you, dog. Like, I hate to put it that way, but you're going to put it all on Graham Mertz to go make it do what it do, baby, against this. Now, kudos to Billy Napier and Scott Strickland, for that matter, for not saying, why did we do this to ourselves, but embracing the challenge. But what the hell else are you going to do? You going to moan and complain as you got to go face this? I think also, as we're getting closer to the 12-team and 16-team playoff, strength of schedule is going to have to factor. It just is. If you didn't play nobody and you're a 2-loss team, maybe you're not getting in. If you played this schedule and maybe you're 9-3, we're probably going to give Florida the benefit of the doubt of being a tough football team. But that said, that's a lot. That's a lot to ask over there. I mean, you got the defending Big 12 champion on your schedule, right? An SEC championship contender in Texas. You got 2 of the last 3 national champions in number 1 Georgia. You got a Tennessee team that is proven they can give you the what for and the how now. If your name is Alabama, if your name is Clemson, they can give it to you. 19 Miami, we're not quite sure what they're going to be, but they're tough. A&M, same difference. We're not quite sure what they're going to be, but, ampersand U tends to be tough. And Mississippi's coming off their best season ever in as far as win tallies. And they're trying to do what you've done, which is win an SEC championship. I think if we're talking about Florida from the perspective of 2002 USC, which is how I choose to enter the conversation, I think this is a great thing. I really do. I think that you could end up right where they were. USC ended up in the Orange Bowl, won 11 games, proved to everybody that, no, we coming and we going to be here for a while. That is how legend is born. That is how great coaches become head coaches. I'm thinking about that 2002 staff, or even the 2015 Alabama staff for that matter. All these guys have an opportunity. Every last one of them. All these guys have the chance to be the first team worth remembering since Tim Tebow played quarterback at Florida. Spend some time. Now, no disrespect to Dan Mullen, no disrespect to what they were doing out there, but I tend to look at this schedule and I say, y'all run through this and y'all make the playoff, you're going to be even money to win the national championship because nobody's going to go through the meat grinder of this thing quite like y'all are going to go through the meat grinder of this thing. And at a year where you can afford to take 2 or 3 losses with this schedule because of the 12-team playoff, I really, really, really want to see Florida perform to its level in this schedule. Let's find out just how good they are, and then let's use that as a way to find out just how good college football